All right, let's dive into intermittent fasting today,
Okay.
but with a twist. We're ditching the strict schedules
Right.
and getting back to basics by tuning into our body's own hunger cues.
Interesting.
We've got some insightful podcast excerpts as our guide.
Okay.
And our mission is to help you understand how this method works, what benefits it might bring,
Yeah.
and whether it could be a good fit for you.
It's a fascinating approach because it really challenges the traditional dieting mindset.
Yeah.
Instead of obsessing over calories or specific foods, it shifts the focus to when you eat,
Okay.
aligning your eating patterns with your body's natural rhythms.
So it's less about deprivation and more about rediscovering a natural rhythm with food.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hitting the reset button on our eating habits.
Exactly. To understand this method, let's start with the foundation.
Right.
What intermittent fasting actually is.
Right.
It's essentially cycling between periods of eating and not eating.
Okay.
Now, this doesn't mean starving yourself. It's more about giving your digestive system a break, which can have some pretty incredible ripple effects on your health.
Okay, so it's all about strategic timing.
Yes,
I know there are different types of fasting. Could you break those down for us?
absolutely.
Thanks.
The source material highlights 3 main types.
Mhm.
Complete fasting,
Okay.
where you abstain from all food and drink.
Okay.
Water fasting,
Okay.
where only water is allowed.
Right.
And wet fasting, where you can have water, unsweetened tea, and black coffee.
Okay.
Wet fasting is the most common within the intermittent fasting framework, and it's the type we'll be focusing on today.
So no sneaking in a sugary latte during our fasting window. Got it. Now let's get to the heart of this method, ditching the clock and letting our hunger be our guide.
Okay.
How does that actually work in practice?
It's surprisingly simple.
Okay.
The first step is setting the stage for a solid overnight fast by finishing your last meal at least 3 hours before bed,
Okay.
ideally by 8 p.m. From there, it's all about paying attention to your body and waiting until you experience true physical hunger before eating again.
Okay, so no more mindless snacking or eating just because the clock says it's lunchtime.
Right.
But how do we know if it's real hunger and not just a craving?
That's where mindful eating comes in.
Right.
True hunger is a physiological signal,
Okay.
a feeling in your stomach that builds gradually.
Yeah.
It's not a sudden, intense craving triggered by stress or boredom.
No.
Think of it as a gentle nudge from your body saying,
Okay.
hey, I could use some fuel now.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
It's about becoming more attuned to those subtle internal cues.
exactly.
I've also heard a helpful tip.
What's that?
When you feel that initial urge to eat, drink a glass of water and wait 10 minutes.
Okay,
If you're still truly hungry after that, then it's time to eat.
that's an excellent strategy. It helps differentiate between genuine hunger and those head hunger cravings that can often lead us astray.
Exactly.
And here's why this approach is so powerful. When you fast, your body goes through some fascinating changes.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Lay it on us what's happening behind the scenes when we fast.
Well, one of the key players is insulin.
Okay?
When you fast, your insulin levels drop, which is crucial because insulin is like a storage hormone.
Mm-hmm.
Low insulin signals to your body,
Yeah.
hey, we need to start burning some of that stored fat for fuel.
Wow.
This is one of the reasons why many people experience weight loss with intermittent fasting.
Makes sense.
But it goes beyond just fat burning.
Wait, so is it like flipping a switch from burning sugar to burning fat?
Kind of, yeah.
That's pretty cool. What else is going on?
Another amazing process called autophagy kicks in during fasting.
Okay.
This is like hitting the refresh button on your body at a cellular level.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So my cells are literally cleaning house while I'm fasting?
They are.
That's wild. Is this specific to the hunger cue method, or does this happen with all types of fasting?
Autophagy is a natural process that gets amplified during fasting. And yes, it occurs with various types of fasting.
Okay.
Essentially, your cells start breaking down and recycling damaged components. Think of it as decluttering and getting rid of the junk.
Okay.
This cellular cleanup crew can have incredible benefits, potentially slowing down aging and boosting your energy levels.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. It makes so much sense why people rave about the energy boost they get from intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Like our bodies are finally free to focus on repair and maintenance instead of constantly digesting food.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop there.
Oh,
Fasting also improves your insulin sensitivity.
okay.
This means your body becomes more efficient at using insulin,
Right.
which is incredibly beneficial for preventing type 2 diabetes and boosting your metabolism.
So it's not just about weight loss, it's about improving our metabolic health at a fundamental level.
That's right.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, fasting helps regulate those pesky hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin,
Yes,
which can lead to better appetite control and fewer cravings over time.
absolutely.
This is incredible. Fat burning, cellular rejuvenation, improved insulin sensitivity,
Yep.
better hunger regulation, all from giving our digestive system a break. Okay, I'm hooked. But tell me,
Okay.
what kind of tangible results can people actually expect? You mentioned that some pretty intriguing things happen after a month of consistent intermittent fasting.
One of the most common and noticeable changes is weight loss, particularly around the abdominal area.
Okay.
That stubborn belly fat that many people struggle with.
Right.
But the benefits extend far beyond the scale.
Okay, losing belly fat is definitely something a lot of people would be interested in.
Sure.
Many people report a significant increase in energy levels and mental clarity.
Uh-huh.
Remember, when your digestive system gets a break,
Yes.
it frees up a lot of energy that your body can redirect to other essential tasks.
It's like your body is finally able to catch up on its to-do list.
Right. It's like our internal systems are getting a much-needed vacation from constantly processing food.
Exactly.
And I bet that contributes to the increased mental clarity people experience, too.
Absolutely. And then there's the feeling of lightness and control that many people describe.
Okay.
Less bloating, more energy,
Yeah,
and a greater sense of control over their eating habits.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of constantly grazing and feeling ruled by cravings,
Right.
you're becoming more attuned to your body's true needs and making conscious choices about when and what to eat.
Exactly. And let's not forget the potential improvements in key health markers like blood pressure, blood sugar levels, and cholesterol.
Wow, so it's not just about how we look and feel, but also about our long-term health and well-being.
It is.
This is starting to sound like a real game changer.
It certainly has the potential to be.
Yeah.
Of course, like with any lifestyle change, it's important to approach intermittent fasting mindfully and tailor it to your individual needs and health conditions.
Of course.
Talking to your doctor is always a good idea, especially if you have any underlying health concerns.
Absolutely, sound advice. So to recap, this hunger cue-based approach to intermittent fasting is about aligning our eating patterns with our body's natural rhythms.
That's right.
It's not about deprivation, but about giving our digestive system a break, leading to a cascade of benefits for our weight, energy levels, mental clarity, and overall health.
Exactly.
It's about tapping into our innate ability to heal and thrive, right?
Beautifully put. It's about moving away from rigid rules and rediscovering the wisdom that resides within our own bodies.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Could tuning into our body's natural rhythms be the key to unlocking not just better health, but a deeper connection with ourselves? We'll leave you with that thought-provoking question as we wrap up part 1 of this deep dive. Stay tuned, because in part 2, we'll explore some practical tips for incorporating intermittent fasting into your life and address some common questions and concerns you might have. Welcome back to our deep dive into intermittent fasting. I've been giving that question we left off with a lot of thought, the idea that this method could lead to a deeper connection with ourselves.
It is.
It's pretty intriguing.
By tuning into our hunger cues and honoring our body's natural rhythms,
Right?
we're essentially cultivating a deeper level of self-awareness.
It's like we're shifting from a place of external control to a place of inner knowing,
Yeah.
listening to our body's wisdom instead of following a set of rules.
Precisely.
Okay.
Instead of relying on diet plans or calorie counting, we're learning to trust our body's signals and respond accordingly.
So it's less about restriction and more about rediscovering that innate connection with our body's needs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in doing so,
Okay.
we might find ourselves becoming more attuned to not just our hunger signals,
Right.
but also our energy levels, our mood, and even our sleep patterns.
Wow.
It's a holistic approach to well-being.
That's fascinating. But I can imagine that some people might be hesitant to try intermittent fasting.
Sure.
What would you say to someone who's used to eating regularly throughout the day
Yeah.
and might be worried about feeling constantly hungry or lightheaded?
Those are valid concerns. Change can be challenging.
Yes.
And this is definitely a different way of thinking about food.
Right?
It's important to remember that with this method,
Okay.
you're not forcing yourself to stick to a rigid schedule.
No.
You eat when you're truly hungry and stop when you're satisfied.
Okay.
It's about honoring your body's cues.
So it's not about deprivation or willpower.
No.
It's about finding a balance that works for you.
Exactly.
But what about those initial hunger pangs? I know some people worry about feeling ravenous or having low energy during the fasting period.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you might experience some increased hunger,
Okay.
especially if you're used to snacking frequently.
Right.
But here's the thing about true hunger.
What's that?
It comes in waves.
Oh.
It builds gradually, peaks, and then subsides.
Okay.
As you continue with this approach,
Right.
your body adapts,
Okay.
and those hunger pangs become less intense and less frequent.
So it's about riding those initial waves and trusting that our body will adjust over time.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And don't underestimate the power of water.
Okay.
Staying well hydrated is essential during the fasting window.
Right.
Not only does it help curb those hunger pangs,
Yeah.
but it also keeps you feeling energized and focused.
That's a great reminder. What about things like exercise? Can you work out while fasting?
Absolutely. Many people find they have fantastic workouts while fasting.
Oh, really?
Think about it.
Okay.
Your body is already tapping into its fat stores for energy, so it's primed for physical activity.
Yeah.
Just remember to listen to your body and adjust your intensity as needed.
Right.
You might find you have more energy for certain types of workouts while fasting, while others might feel more challenging.
That's helpful advice. So movement is encouraged, but with a mindful approach.
Exactly.
Now, the source material also mentioned that this method can help us develop a more balanced relationship with food. I'm curious to hear more about that.
This is one of the aspects I find most compelling about this approach.
Really?
By tuning into your hunger cues, you become more aware of what your body truly needs.
Okay.
You begin to distinguish between emotional eating and genuine hunger, between eating out of boredom or stress, and eating because your body is signaling that it needs fuel.
So it's about becoming a more conscious eater, more in tune with the why behind our food choices.
Precisely.
Right.
Start to appreciate the nourishment food provides and savor your meals more fully.
Yeah,
It's about moving away from mindless eating and embracing a more mindful approach.
that makes so much sense. It's not about depriving yourself. It's
Yeah.
about developing a deeper understanding of your relationship with food.
Exactly.
It's about making choices that support your overall well-being.
Exactly. And over time,
Yeah.
this can lead to a more balanced and sustainable way of eating that feels natural and effortless rather than restrictive or forced.
This is all sounding incredibly promising, but I know there are always important considerations when it comes to any kind of dietary or lifestyle change.
Sure.
What are some things people should keep in mind if they're thinking about trying this approach to intermittent fasting?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, talking to your healthcare provider is always a good idea before making any major changes,
Yeah.
especially if you have any pre-existing health conditions or are taking medications.
Of course.
It's always best to err on the side of caution.
Absolutely.
Checking in with your doctor is a crucial first step.
What else should people be aware of?
Patience is key.
Okay.
Your body needs time to adjust to this new way of eating, so be kind to yourself. And don't get discouraged if you experience some initial challenges or setbacks.
Right.
Remember, it's a journey, not a race.
That's such an important reminder. It's about progress,
Yeah.
not perfection. And it's about listening to our body's cues and adjusting accordingly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that this is just one approach to intermittent fasting.
Okay.
There are many different ways to incorporate fasting into your lifestyle. So don't be afraid to experiment and find what feels best for you.
Right.
What works for one person may not work for another.
Of course.
The goal is to find something that is sustainable and enjoyable for you in the long run.
That's such a great point. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to health and well-being.
Exactly.
As we wrap up part 2 of this deep dive, I encourage you to reflect on your own relationship with food and consider whether incorporating some elements of intermittent fasting, especially this hunger cue-based method, might be beneficial for you.
Right.
In the final part, we'll delve into some of the exciting research on the potential benefits of intermittent fasting and explore the fascinating connection between our eating patterns and our internal body clock. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into intermittent fasting. We've explored the what, the why, and the how, but now I'm really excited to dig into the science behind this ancient practice.
What's captivating is that modern research is starting to validate what humans have intuitively known for centuries,
Yeah.
that our eating patterns have a profound impact on our overall health.
It's like we're rediscovering the wisdom of our ancestors
Yeah.
and backing it up with scientific evidence.
Exactly.
Now, I've heard a lot about the potential link between intermittent fasting and longevity. What have you uncovered in your research on that?
There's a growing body of evidence suggesting that intermittent fasting could play a role in extending lifespan.
Okay.
Studies on animals have shown that calorie restriction, which is a form of intermittent fasting,
Right.
can significantly increase lifespan.
Wow.
And while more research is needed on humans, there are promising indications that intermittent fasting might activate similar pathways,
Okay.
promoting longevity and protecting against age-related diseases.
So it's not just about adding years to our lives,
Right.
but about adding life to our years.
Exactly.
That's pretty remarkable. What's the mechanism behind that?
Well, remember that process of autophagy we talked about?
Yeah.
The cellular cleanup crew?
Yeah, the cell's cleaning house.
Exactly. That seems to be a key player.
Oh, okay.
By removing damaged cells and promoting cellular renewal, autophagy contributes to healthy aging and could potentially slow down the aging process.
So it's like giving our cells a chance to reset and rejuvenate,
Yes.
which could have a ripple effect on our overall health and lifespan.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And there's another intriguing connection that I found in the research.
Okay, what's that?
The link between our eating patterns and our circadian rhythms.
Oh, yes, our internal body clock. I've heard that it plays a crucial role in regulating many of our bodily functions.
Yes.
But how does that tie into intermittent fasting?
Our circadian rhythm is like an internal timekeeper,
Okay.
influencing our sleep-wake cycles, hormone production, and even our metabolism when we disrupt this natural rhythm.
Okay.
For example, by eating late at night,
Yeah.
it can throw things off balance and lead to weight gain and other metabolic issues.
It's like we're sending mixed signals to our bodies when we eat outside of our natural window.
Exactly.
I can see how that would cause problems.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this is where intermittent fasting comes in.
Okay.
By incorporating a period of overnight fasting,
Right.
we're essentially giving our bodies a chance to realign with their natural rhythms. That break from digestion allows our systems to reset
Okay.
and focus on essential processes like cellular repair and hormone regulation.
So it's not just about when we eat,
Right.
but also about when we don't eat.
Exactly.
It's about creating that space for our bodies to do their essential work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And emerging research suggests that aligning our eating patterns with our circadian rhythms can have a significant positive impact on our metabolic health.
Wow, it's like we're piecing together a puzzle here.
Yeah.
Connecting ancient practices with cutting-edge science to unlock the secrets of optimal health and longevity.
I love that analogy.
It's a truly holistic approach, taking into account not just what we eat, but when we eat, and how that aligns with our body's natural rhythms.
It really is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into intermittent fasting,
Right.
I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
We've explored the science, the benefits, and the practical considerations.
We have.
But ultimately, the most important takeaway is this. Listen to your body,
Yes.
experiment, and find what feels best for you.
Good advice.
You might just discover that tuning into your natural rhythms can lead to a profound transformation,
Absolutely.
not just in your physical health,
Right.
but also in your overall sense of well-being and vitality.
It's powerful stuff.
And who knows, maybe you'll even unlock some of those secrets to a longer, healthier, and more fulfilling life.
I hope so.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the fascinating world of knowledge and exploration.